dead of night. The sky over Whiteman Air Force Base, Missouri, is as still as any other in the American Midwest. But on the ground, a shadow, darker than the night itself, is moving. No roaring engines, just a whisper. B-2 Spirit bombers have silently taken to the sky, melting into the darkness, beginning an intercontinental mission. Dozens of hours of non-stop flight, across oceans, across early warning radar systems. This isn't just a routine airstrike. It's a demonstration of a unique military capability, a strategic message delivered at just under the speed of sound. Why? Because the B-2 is the only aircraft on Earth capable of carrying the MOP, the Massive Ordnance Penetrator, a colossal bunker-busting bomb weighing 30,000 pounds, a weapon designed not to destroy a building, but to destroy a mountain, at $2 billion apiece. This is the most expensive aircraft ever built in human history. You could build a skyscraper for that price. You could buy an entire fleet of conventional fighter jets. So, here is the $2 billion question. How does a machine, a giant with a 172-foot wingspan, the width of a football field, fly halfway around the world, completely undetected, to carry out a seemingly impossible mission? How did it become a spirit, in every sense of the word? The answer lies not in one, but in three core technological secrets, three pillars of its invisibility. Secret number one, the invisible skin. Let's start with the first thing you notice, or rather, the first thing you don't. Its shape. It looks like nothing else that flies. It is a pure flying wing. Why? Because radar works like a flashlight in a dark room. If you shine that light on a flat mirror, it bounces straight back into your eyes. Conventional aircraft, with their cylindrical bodies and vertical tails, are perfect mirrors for radar waves. They scream, "I am here." The B-2 is different. It has no tail, no vertical surfaces. Every curve, every edge, is meticulously calculated to deflect radar waves. When a radar beam hits the B-2, it isn't reflected back to the source. It's scattered into 1,000 different, weaker echoes. On a radar screen, the 170-ton machine's signature is no bigger than a large bird, or even an insect. But the shape is only half the story. The other half is its magic skin. It's called radar absorbent material, or RAM. If the B-2's shape is the shield that deflects, the RAM is the cushion that swallows everything else. This RAM is a complex, polymer-based material engineered to absorb the energy of a radar wave and convert it into heat. A tiny, insignificant amount of heat, but enough that the radar wave checks in but never checks out. This coating, said to contain tiny ferrite particles, must be painstakingly maintained in climate-controlled hangars, and beneath that soft, expensive skin is a masterpiece of aerospace materials. The B-2's airframe isn't conventional aluminum. Most of the wing is made from graphite epoxy, a composite material that is incredibly light, incredibly strong, and, most importantly, transparent to radar. The leading edges of the wing, the first place to strike a radar wave, are made of fiberglass epoxy, and in the most extreme high-heat areas, right near the engine exhaust, you'll find titanium, the only material that can withstand the punishment. Supporting this entire massive structure is a high-strength steel framework, allowing the wings to flex and endure G-forces without snapping. Secret number two, the silent heart. A plane that's invisible to radar, but screams like a lion and glows like a torch, is still an easy target. The B-2's enemies aren't just radar, but heat-seeking infrared missiles. This is where the second secret comes in, the B-2's heart. You will never see the engines of a B-2. They aren't slung under the wings like a passenger jet. They are buried deep, inside the aircraft's body. Why? Because nothing reflects radar better than a spinning jet engine fan. Thousands of tiny metal blades spinning at supersonic speeds. They're a disco ball for radar. The B-2 hides its heart. It uses 4 General Electric F-118 turbofan engines, each producing 17,300 pounds of thrust. The air is drawn in, not from the front, but from strange-looking inlets on its back, and it doesn't go straight in. The air must travel through a complex S-curve inlet before it ever reaches the compressor fans. This serpentine tunnel forces radar waves to bounce around and die inside, never reaching the engine blades. But that only solves the radar problem. What about the heat? Most importantly, the B-2 does not use afterburners. This is an enormous sacrifice. An afterburner is how a fighter jet gets its blistering acceleration, by dumping raw fuel into the exhaust, creating a massive plume of fire. It gives you speed, but it also creates a heat signature so large a missile can lock on from 100 miles away. The B-2 intentionally sacrifices speed for stealth. It flies at a high subsonic Mach 0.85. It cannot run. It can only hide. And its exhaust? Even the 1,200-degree Fahrenheit gas from the engines is a danger. So, engineers designed a genius system. The hot exhaust from the F-118 engines, before it exits the aircraft, is mixed with a massive stream of cold, ambient air pulled from outside. This mixture is cooled significantly, and then it's not blasted out in a single stream. It's fanned out through flattened, V-shaped nozzles, blending it with the cold air flowing over the top of the wing. The result? To a heat-seeking missile looking up from below, the B-2 isn't a brilliant fireball. It's just a patch of sky that's slightly warmer than the rest. It nearly blinds the missile. Secret number 3, the no-tail magic. So, we have a machine that's invisible to radar and silent to heat sensors. But how does it fly? A plane needs a vertical tail to stay stable, to keep it from yawing side to side. It needs a horizontal tail to control its pitch. It needs ailerons on the wings to bank. The B-2 has none of these. Every vertical structure, every conventional rudder, is a radar-reflecting mirror. So, how does it stay stable? The short answer: it doesn't. Aerodynamically, the B-2 is wildly unstable. If you made a simple model of it and threw it, it would tumble end over end. Its ancestor, the YB-49, proved this with catastrophic, fatal crashes. So why does the B-2 fly? Computers. The B-2 is flown by an incredibly complex, quad-redundant fly-by-wire system. The pilot isn't really flying the plane. The pilot is making suggestions to the computer. When the pilot pulls back on the stick, they're sending a signal. I would like to go up. The computer receives that request, compares it to thousands of data points from its sensors, and then commands the control surfaces what to do hundreds of times every second. What are those surfaces? Instead of ailerons and tails, the B-2 uses a series of panels on the trailing edge of the wing called elevons. If both panels go up, the nose pitches up. If one goes up and one goes down, the plane rolls. But how does it turn? How does it yaw left and right with no vertical rudder? This is the most genius design of all. The split drag rudders. They aren't rudders at all. They are, essentially, air brakes. Hidden near the wingtips, each side has a panel that can split in two. When the pilot wants to yaw left, the rudder on the left wing opens up. This creates a massive amount of drag on the left side, pulling the plane's nose to the left. It's like you're in a kayak, and you stick your left oar in the water. This is why the B-2 turns very slowly, very deliberately, very gracefully. It cannot dogfight. It maneuvers through the sky like a giant stingray. Those are the three secrets: a radar-absorbing skin, a hidden heart, and a computerized brain controlling magic-like control surfaces. Music shifts, more narrative, historical. Now that we know how it works, the next, and perhaps more important question, is why? Why would America build such a complex and colossally expensive machine? To answer that, we have to go back to 1975. The Cold War is at its absolute peak. The air is thick with tension. The doctrine of mutual assured destruction is the only thing keeping two superpowers from pushing the nuclear button. And the backbone of America's deterrent, its B-52 bomber fleet, was facing a fatal problem. These stratofortresses, legends of the sky, were designed in the 1,950 seconds. On a Soviet radar screen, they showed up as big as a cathedral. Soviet air defenses had become too advanced. They had S-200 and S-300 missiles, MiG-25 and MiG-31 interceptors that flew higher and faster. Sending B-52 seconds into Soviet airspace was becoming a suicide mission. America's ability to deter was eroding. America needed something new, not just another bomber. They needed a ghost. They needed the tip of the spear, a deep penetration aircraft capable of going in first, alone, slipping past the densest air defenses on Earth and taking out the brain of the enemy: the radar stations, the command and control bunkers, the missile launchers. It had to be the Pathfinder, carving in safe corridor for the traditional bombers, like the B-1 Lancer and the heavy payload B-52 seconds, to follow. The goal was set: create a bomber that could glide through Soviet defenses like a phantom. The Advanced Technology Bomber, or ATB program, was born in total secrecy. Music softens, becomes more nostalgic, but few knew the solution to this future tech problem had already been dreamed up decades earlier and then smashed to pieces. World War II is over. While the world is focused on new jet engines, one brilliant engineer, Jack Northrop, was obsessed with an idea: the flying wing. He believed an aircraft composed of nothing but a wing, eliminating the fuselage and tail, was the most aerodynamically perfect design, the least drag, the most efficiency. And his prototype, the YB-49, was built in 1949. It looked like it was from another planet. It was decades ahead of its time. But, as we said, it was unstable. Without computers to tame it, it was a beast, like riding a unicycle on a tightrope. After a tragic crash, the Air Force, already skeptical of the radical design, was fed up and ordered them all destroyed. The YB-49 prototypes were cut apart, sold for scrap. Jack Northrop passed away in 1981, but the story has a beautiful, poetic ending. Just months before he died, he was given a special security clearance and wheeled into a secret Northrop facility. They showed him a model of the ATB project, a model of the B-2 spirit. The story goes that he wrote, "Now I know why God has kept me alive for 25 years. The dream was never dead. It was just waiting for technology to catch up." Fast forward to 1978. Northrop Corporation, Jack's company, won the ATB contract. The flying wing had risen from the ashes, this time armed with a digital brain to become the ultimate weapon. Music builds, back to the present, analytical tone. We know it's stealthy. We know why it was built. Now, let's look at what it can actually do when it gets to the target. First, let's talk range. That mission from Missouri to the Middle East wasn't an exaggeration. In fact, the B-2's very first combat missions during the war in Afghanistan were non-stop flights from Whiteman Air Force Base around the world, where they'd drop their bombs and fly all the way back. missions that lasted over 40 hours. How? On a single tank of fuel, it can fly 7,000 miles or 11,000 kilometers. That's because it carries a staggering amount of fuel, 167,000 pounds or 75,000 kilograms. That is the equivalent of 2 entire fuel tanker trucks. The B-2 is, essentially, a flying fuel tank. And if 7,000 miles isn't enough, that's where its aerial refueling system comes in. The B-2 has a port on its back. It can stay airborne for 44 hours, almost 2 full days, as long as tankers can meet it. It can take off from the American heartland, strike any target on planet Earth, and return. And when it arrives, what's the punch? It can carry 20 tons of bombs, 40,000 pounds, all hidden inside 2 massive bomb bays in its belly. But what kind of bombs? This is where its flexibility shines. If the mission is to hit dozens of scattered targets, it can carry 8,500-pound GPS-guided Mark 82 bombs. 80 bombs, 80 different targets, all in a single pass. Or, if the enemy is too far away and too dangerous, the B-2 can switch to its rotary launcher system. Imagine a giant revolver cylinder. It can carry 16 AGM-158 JASSM cruise missiles, a stealth bomber, launching stealth missiles, a true nightmare. And finally, what if the target is the one we mentioned at the start? A nuclear bunker, a command center, buried 200 feet beneath a mountain of granite. A Mark 82 would just scratch the paint. A cruise missile would just shake the ground. That is when the B-2 carries its unique weapon, the one only it can carry, the 30,000-pound Massive Ordnance Penetrator, or MOP. It's not a bomb. It's a non-powered missile made of hardened steel. And this is how it works. In a 4-step dance of destruction. Step 1, released from high altitude. The B-2 has to be high to give the MOP time and space to accelerate. Step 2, the bomb guides itself via GPS. This is not a dumb iron bomb. It's lethally precise. Step 3, the lattice fins at the tail deploy, constantly adjusting, ensuring the bomb strikes at a perfect 90-degree angle. Step 4, impact. With all its accumulated kinetic energy, the 30,000-pound dart slams down, penetrating 200 feet of reinforced concrete before its 5,300-pound warhead explodes. It doesn't destroy the target from above. It destroys it from the inside. An extraordinary machine. But this $2 billion machine has now been in service for 3 decades. It's a marvel of the 1,980 seconds, and it's getting old. The maintenance on its stealth skin is notoriously expensive. It requires special, climate-controlled hangars. Every flight degrades the coating. Its cost per flight hour is the highest in the entire U.S. Air Force. And now, it is preparing to pass the torch to its successor, the B-21 Raider. At first glance, the B-21 looks like a smaller, sleeker B-2, but it's a revolution. It's designed to be smaller. Cheaper, though cheap, is relative at $500 million each, and most importantly, vastly easier to maintain. It uses next-generation stealth materials that are more durable, that don't need the special hangars. It's designed to be the world's first 6th-generation aircraft, a quarterback in the sky, capable of controlling drone swarms flying alongside it. The B-21 is expected to take over all of the B-2's deep penetration missions. Music swells, conclusive, epic, but respectful. The B-2 spirit. It's an engineering marvel, a testament to human ambition, to the fusion of a brilliant engineer's mad dream and a superpower's industrial might. It's more than just an airplane. For 30 years, it has been a strategic message of deterrence, a message that says, There is nowhere on Earth you can hide. What do you think of the B-2? Is its legacy too large for the B-21 Raider to overcome? Or will the B-21 open a new chapter, one that's even more formidable? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe as we continue to explore the incredible machines that have and will change our world.